Finally, the U.S. president says the partial government shutdown is going to last until his demands for border wall funding are met.
I can't tell you when the government's going to be open. I can tell you it's not going to be open until we have a wall, a fence, whatever they'd like to call it. I'll call it whatever they want. But it's all the same thing. It's a barrier from people pouring into our country from drugs. It's a barrier from drugs. It's a barrier.
Trump expressed hope that the wall be completed by the next presidential election in 2020. The remarks come as the shutdown over budget spending is in its fourth day. The closures began at 500 GMT on Saturday after Democrats resisted President Donald Trump's demand for a $5 billion border wall funding. None of the 15 federal departments, including State, Homeland Security, Transportation, Agriculture, and Justice, are partially closed. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees are working unpaid or have gone on temporary leave. A deal to end the funding dispute appears to be a distant prospect as Congress adjourned on the weekend for Christmas. Jason Unruhe is a political commentator and analyst who joins us from Ontario. Well, we heard the U.S. president there in that soundbite, so he's not going to back down. Do you think the Democrats will cave in, or are we looking at something bigger here?
I think that we're looking at something bigger here because this seems to be a very serious red line between both of these sides. The Democrats are not going to budge on this, and the Republicans seem to, for the most part, support Trump in this endeavor. So, I mean, we've got a really, an irresistible force versus the immovable object kind of situation. I think that my hope is that eventually the rest of the Republican Party will eventually cave in to the Democrat demands, because this wall is, in all measures, a bad idea. It's a monstrous waste of money. It's probably the single worst public works project probably in the history of mankind. I mean, it's nothing more than Trump trying to keep at least one of his promises from his campaign, probably the biggest promise in the eyes of many of his followers. So I think there's a very tremendous struggle going on here. I think Trump sees very much that his presidency is in jeopardy with all the investigations being carried out against him, and perhaps he sees that the end is near, and this is the legacy that he wants to leave in his presidency. Every president wants to leave some kind of legacy behind, and I think the wall, in his case, is his. I think maybe he's being told to back down on a lot of things. He's being told to be careful how to approach things, try to be more diplomatic, try to be more of a politician and less of a demanding CEO, and that's beginning to irk him. This is something that he really wants, and the political consequences of which don't seem to be of any concern to him whatsoever. They don't really matter. Trump wants what he wants, and that's the way that he's used to running the U.S. government, with essentially as much unchecked power as possible, and is not afraid to remove people from his own party, from his own cabinet, from his own government positions if he doesn't get what he wants. I think we have a very nonsense position. This wall is the only obstacle between the Republicans and the Democrats in this situation. Other than that, we've got a relatively workable plan that really doesn't change anything, but it really keeps things going. It at least maintains things the way that they are, that at least many of the essential services, many of the things that need to be done on a day-to-day basis can keep going. But Trump seems to just absolutely put his foot down on this, and this seems to be like the most important thing to him, that it transcends any kind of holidays, it transcends any other kind of issue. This is the #1 thing for him right now. And I think that it's going to remain deadlocked for a while until, at least in my opinion, maybe some of the more level-headed members in the Republican Party agree to back down from this and allow business to continue as usual.
Thank you for that. We appreciate it. Jason Unruhe, political commentator and analyst from Ontario.